What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cars, Cost, and Technology. As you saw by the title of today's video, I want to talk about the reliability of the C8 Mid-Engine Corvette in its first year of production. As soon as I made my video talking about putting a deposit down on the car and that I'll be getting it for sure, I got a lot of feedback from various people saying you should always avoid the first year of production on any new car due to reliability issues. So I wanted to share my opinion on that topic and go over just a few things that we need to take into consideration, as well as get some feedback from you guys, see what your thoughts are. I always appreciate some of the great information I see in the comments below. So definitely let me know what your thoughts are in general are on this topic. But as far as my opinions go, the first thing I want to talk about is the engine in the C8. For those of you that are in the know or real familiar with Corvettes, you're probably aware that the LT2 engine is really just the LT1 from the previous generation Corvette or C7 Corvette that's been used for years, just slightly modified to have a little bit higher horsepower output, as well as some minor modifications to make it fit in a mid-engine application. So this is not an entirely new engine from the ground up, which may sound like a negative thing, but that engine produced a lot of horsepower. It's very reliable, and that is probably one of, if not the biggest area of concern when it comes to a car and its reliability. So that's going to give a huge advantage to not only GM engineers while making this car, Chevy technicians while working on this car, as well as previous Corvette owners when they own this car, having a good understanding of the way that this engine functions, what they can expect as far as maintenance, and just the overall engine itself being familiar is a huge advantage when it comes to reliability. So enough about the engine, but I think that's a huge factor that people need to keep in mind when they talk about the reliability of this car, even though it's in its first year. Now, second thing I want to talk about is the improvements to the plant where the car is being built. If you're not familiar with Corvette stories and headlines, for years now, GM has been investing hundreds of millions, not millions, not tens of millions, but hundreds of millions of dollars into the Bowling Green assembly plant where the Corvette is actually built and produced and has been for a while. They've been doing everything from a new paint shop to retooling, all types of new equipment. We don't even know the full extent of exactly what all they're putting in there because obviously they were keeping it under wraps, trying to make sure people didn't know the details of the C8. But they've spent a huge sum of money upgrading this facility to make it ready for producing the C8, and that alone gives me peace of mind knowing that they take it very seriously and they want this car to be produced not only at a high quality standard but very efficiently. And I think that that's going to really show through in the product in terms of the overall fit and finish. Who knows? I mean, obviously they've got to have some time to kind of break in their new equipment and get everything all figured out, get their processes dialed in. But that investment itself in the assembly plant, I think, should really show you that they mean business about this car and that it should be built very well and that a high quality standard should be maintained. Next thing I want to talk about is just the overall amount of testing that's went into this car. So we don't even know the extent or how long this car has been being looked at or reviewed or on the table of GM engineers and executives, but I can say that the first spy shots of a C8 test mule, which was pretty ugly and not anywhere near what it looks like now that we've seen it publicly released, but the first test mules that were out would date all the way back to January of 2015. So you're talking by the time that this is in driveways, which people are saying should be right around January of 2020, that's roughly 5 years of research and development and testing. So who knows how long they've been testing the car before they went out onto a public road with a version or a cooked up, it's kind of a Frankenstein looking car, but there is a ton of research and development and testing that has happened to this car, and not many new cars get that type of attention. I think that they knew this project was very special and that it meant a lot to the entire Corvette lineage and Corvette team, Corvette enthusiasts. So it had so much more attention and dedication than your average new car does. So for people concerned that the first year of production the car could have a lot of reliability issues or design flaws, I think all these things combined tell me it's not going to be an issue at all. Of course, there's going to be minor issues that need to be worked out and maybe perfected into the 2021 model year, 2022, but I don't think as a whole there's going to be any major issues. This car has been tested thoroughly. They even talk about in the presentation of the car how they beat it up beyond what any Corvette owner would do to their car just to see the limits of this car and its ability to take a beating and keep on going. So I feel very confident the car is going to be very mechanically sound and perform really well, be very reliable. But I do also want to point out that in the event there are some minor issues, who would you rather have find out about it? Your everyday consumer who's spent their hard-earned money on the car and has to kind of go it alone against their local dealership to get it fixed, or a YouTube channel who can very easily document the problem on video and share it with thousands of people on the internet and help Chevrolet or GM fix those issues and get the car better for future generations. Because for me, if I have issues with the car, I can document it, I can make content on that, and that actually I don't want to say it's a positive thing for me, but in a sense, it's not the biggest problem where your everyday consumer, if they have an issue with it, it's more of a headache for them. They have no benefit of sharing that information or getting that out there on social media or things like that. So if you're going to have somebody who's going to test the waters and try a car out before it's really 100% proven, I would say that a YouTube channel that you follow or interested in would be the best place where you'd want that car to go. But again, I've gotten a lot of people who act like they're very concerned and would strongly discourage me buying the car in the first year. But you're going to have naysayers and everything. But like I said, guys, I really want to hear your feedback on this as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think that they've got this car all ironed out and that it will be reliable straight out of the gate? Or do you think that it's going to be a little bit of a mess in the beginning and a work in progress? Let me know down below. I do certainly appreciate your feedback and your support here on the channel. But I look forward to talking to you next time. Have a great day.